Tesla wants the US to do the right thing and hold car companies accountable for not meeting the fuel economy rules. Jalopnik has published an interesting story this morning saying, but this is not entirely altruistic. Tesla is a corporation. Who is it kidding? But Reuters reports that Tesla is pushing the Biden administration to raise penalties on non-compliant automakers, in large part because the regulatory credits that Tesla sells to car makers like Stellantis are being devalued. In what way? You will know now. So Tesla is pressing President Joe Biden's administration and the U.S. appeals court to move quickly to hike civil penalties for automakers failing to meet fuel economy requirements, Reuters report. Reuters says Tesla, which produces only electric vehicles, sells credits to other car makers to help them meet government vehicle emissions requirements, and says those credits are less valuable due to changes in rules made by former President Donald Trump administration. Tesla met virtually on August 30th with officials from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, according to a document filed by the agency last week. The government memo said Tesla suggested NHTSA withdraw Trump's action immediately, saying it produces continuing uncertainty in investments and transactions across the industry, and any delays will continue to have deleterious effects on the credit market until the issue is resolved. It added Tesla believes any delays will continue to have deleterious effects on the credit market. Tesla on August 27th separately again asked the Second Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals to quickly reinstate higher penalties. The court rejected Tesla's request in April for immediate action pending NHTSA review. The uncertainty perpetuated by NHTSA's sluggish rulemaking pace is thus compounded by the likelihood of yet another round of litigation. Tesla wrote, warning uncertainty may linger for several more years. This is the case of Tesla being both kind of, as Jalopnik puts it, selfish and correct. Regulatory pressure is the only thing that really moves automakers, as we have seen in Europe. What we have seen in Europe, supercars can't hide from emission regulations in the EU anymore. Any company making over 1,000 cars will have to make EV or zero or low emission models as European Union revised its CO2 regulations. This happened in July of 2021. The electric supercars are coming, and it's not because car makers like Ferrari or Koenigsegg have voluntarily committed to drastically reducing their carbon emissions, but because regulations in the European Union are going to make low-volume car makers adhere to the same standards as the rest of the industry. There will be no more low-volume exemption. Well, maybe for the lowest volume, I guess. So unless Ferrari and Koenigsegg or Lamborghini or Bugatti cut production down to precisely 999 cars by 2030, they're going to have to abide by the same rules as the big car makers in the European Union. These new regulations aren't set to take effect immediately, but they are kicking in soon in the near to mid-term. The European Commission is targeting much lower CO2 levels by 2030 and 2035, according to the Financial Times reporter Peter Campbell. Peter Campbell said, get ready for electric Ferraris. All small manufacturers have to meet same targets as rest of the car industry from 2030, says European Commission, and says all car and van manufacturers will have to contribute to the reduction of CO2 emissions. Therefore, the derogation for small value manufacturers, those selling between 1,000 and 10,000 new cars or 22,000 new vans in a calendar year, is removed as of 2030. Now, Tesla basically wants the Biden administration to do the same thing for the US market. These new rules in Europe are paving the way for the changes which remove what the Commission refers to as a derogation. This is basically an exemption that applied to car makers who sold fewer than 10,000 cars in 1 year, like makers of supercars. The companies didn't have to target lower emissions, presumably because their cars didn't contribute to increased levels of CO2 as much as the big car makers. For reference, Ferrari sold 9,119 cars in 2020, which is actually less than the number it sold the year before that. In 2019, Ferrari sold 10,131 cars. The company's sales numbers in 2020 put it within the range for the derogation, but that's not going to fly by the end of the decade, meaning it now has until 2030 to literally clean up its act. It's still important to note, however, that even though these new regulations are a big deal, they were delayed by a couple of years. Matthias Schmidt, an analyst covering the electric vehicle market in the European Union, said that they were pushed back from 2028 to 2030. Derogations for lower volume OEMs proposed to be phased out by 2030 was previously 2028, Matthias Schmidt said. For those under 1,000 per year, derogations remain. 2 years seems like a quirky little footnote, but remember that some of the countries in the European Union haven't always agreed on regulations. Despite the new time frame, the changes are coming, and with even more ambitious figures. As Schmidt said, the target reduction shifted nearly 20%. Now, having Tesla, like I said, this is the case of Tesla being both correct and also from self-interest. Regulatory pressure is the only thing that works. This is why Tesla wants car makers kind of to, as Jalopnik puts it, but I don't like this wording, to feel the pain for not meeting fuel economy rules. I say I don't like that wording because I myself do a lot of wrong things, and I would like to keep the golden rules. Do others as you wish them to be done to you. Now, in the meantime, automakers might lose $210 billion because of the chip shortage and other supply chain issues. Global automakers, reports Reuters, could lose $210 billion in revenue this year because of supply chain disruptions, nearly double a forecast earlier this year, consulting firm AlixPartners said Thursday. A shortage of semiconductors is just part of the problem, AlixPartners said in a new forecast. High prices and tight supplies of commodities such as steel and plastic resin are driving up costs and forcing automakers to curtail production. Automakers are on track to lose production of 7.7 million vehicles in 2021, according to the new forecast. AlixPartners advises car makers on supply chain and other issues. In May, the firm predicted automakers would lose $110 billion in revenue and fall 3.9 million vehicles short of production plans for the year. In the meantime, friends, it looks like Elon Musk has made an announcement saying new chip plants should make chip shortage shorter. He said on Friday this morning that thanks to new semiconductor plants that are planned or under construction, the global chip shortage that has pummeled the car industry this year should be short-term in nature. This is what he exactly said. There is a lot of chip fabrication plants that are being built, Musk said during a joint session with John Elkann, the scion of Italy's Agili family at Italian Tech Week. I think we will have good capacity for providing chips by next year, Elon Musk said in a short quote. Well, friends, let me know your thoughts. What do you think about these developments? This is Armen Harian from TorqueNews.com. Please subscribe to our channel for daily Tesla news and give us thumbs up if you found this report helpful. I'll see you soon in our next report. God bless you, everyone. Peace be with all of you.